Hi, Mystery Writers. Welcome to the Mystery Writers Studio. I'm Zara Altair, and today I want to talk about the detective's opponent. And this is a character that many first time writers overlook, and it gives you such a great opportunity to enhance your story, to show more about your detective's traits. So, let's dive into it. And first of all, I want to stress that the opponent is not the villain. It's a completely different role. The villain in a mystery is the one who commits the crime, usually the murder. And so, from Agatha Christie's Chief Inspector Japp and Hercule Poirot's neighbor Grammen in the Swedish television series Beck. Um, these are characters that give your protagonist trouble. It's a character who causes trouble. They may be a rival or a love or an ex spouse or a neighbor, but somehow, villainous or bumbling, they are connected to the detective and they oppose your central character. So, just like the sidekick, the opponent can be a male, a female, old, young, whatever. That part doesn't matter at all. What you're looking for is someone who gets in the way of your detectives and gives them obstacles that force your detective to show qualities and personality characteristics that deepen your reader's understanding of your central character. And that's why they're so beneficial in your novel. When you give your detective an opponent, you get to see another side of that detective, and the more that happens, the better your readers relate to your story. So Andrew Hatchett says, yes, think of them as a constant heckler. And that is a great way of putting it, Andy. Yes, they are. They're the constant heckler. Whatever your detective tries to do, all of a sudden this character pops up and trouble, and the trouble can distract your detective from their main job, which is to solve the mystery. And that's why they're so beneficial, because they keep your reader on edge. They keep them wondering, okay, how are they going to deal with this? Or I didn't know about I didn't know about this side of the detective in the way that the detective responds to that opponent. So it's what you want to do is create obstacles with your opponent. They're obstacles that personally affect the detective and often hinder the murder investigation, because they get your detective sidetracked. It's like a time delay causing your detective to miss an important meeting or interview with a suspect. Or they may do something like professional character assassination, um, which makes other people disbelieve the qualities of your main character. They may steal evidence or plant false clues to deter the detective's search. They may intentionally or unintentionally give false information, or they may be attempting to steal your detective's love interest. There's just so many ways that they can pop up and, as Andy says, heckle your detective and get in their way. So it's really up to your writer imagination to come up with ways to thwart your detective with those obstacles. And as I mentioned before, depending on the opponent's character and role in your mystery, Each obstacle creates an opportunity for the mystery writer, you, to expand your reader's knowledge of the sleuth. And this is a great way to build your reader's connection with your detective. Because the opponent is outside of the sleuth's investigation, the interactions between the two characters are personal. And these interactions reveal character traits the sleuth may not use in the pursuit of a murder inquiry, but they definitely connect your reader with the sleuth. So they may have tolerance of an irritating behavior or anger unleashed that they keep under wraps professionally, but when they're outside of their professional role, they get angered. This opponent just pushes all their buttons. All right. They may generate tender feelings for other people in the story. Um, they can illustrate wisdom on your detective's part or pride on your detective's part. Your writer's imagination is the key to creating situations that emphasize your sleuth's trait by interacting with that opponent. So the opponent is like a free character for mystery writers, and they complicate the sleuth's life, but not the mystery. And I think that's the thing you need to understand. They complicate the sleuth's life, but they don't complicate the mystery they're trying to solve. It's definitely personal. The opponent can be a fun addition to your story because they don't have to be part of the solution. And as a novelist, you have a free hand in creating this sleuth opponent and make them as likable or unlikable as you want, and then insert them into the story to reveal your sleuth's character traits. Okay, I hope that helps, and I'd like you to consider that. I know in my current novel that I'm writing, there's a young and very eager um, a newspaper journalist who keeps popping up at the most inopportune times, causing trouble for the detective. Yes, Andy makes another point. The opponent can reveal the detective's backstory to the reader, and that's going to depend on the opponent that you choose. Um, and because some opponents may not know your detective's backstory at all, it's just going to depend. Great point, though. Um, and it is one of the ways that you can introduce backstory in into your mystery, because you just don't want to have a big chunk of narrative about all this happened in my detective's previous life before this story started. Um, so the opponent and the sidekick too are great characters to help reveal your detective's backstory and give your reader a bigger picture of who your main character is. All right, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for being here. And you know what? I had one note I wanted to tell you that Pro Writing Aid has a new beta report feature which is called Critique. And I've been using it. I've been running my chapters, entering my chapters one by one into the critique and getting feedback. So it gives you a very comprehensive overall view of how that section of your story turns out. So I thought I'd read you some of the things that it examines. It, first of all, tells you the strengths that you have in your segment. It also looks at the plot of the story and tells you how that's working. It examines the characters. It measures the tension in the scene, and that's very important. You want tension in every scene. And it examines the point of view. Do you switch point of view in the middle of the scene, which is not something you want to do. You want to keep the viewpoint from one character. It talks about it examines how you present the setting and whether it's relevant or not relevant to your story. It takes a look at the style or voice. It takes a look at the clarity and cohesion of your story. It looks at the paragraph structure. It looks at the writing style, and especially the writing style in relationship to the genre you're writing. It looks at the tone. It looks at the description that you use in your passage. It looks at the dialogue and whether it's believable and helps the reader understand the characters. It looks at the mood. It looks at the pacing, and also provides you with some potential improvements for each passage. So I've been using it very consistently and taking some notes, and it's something that you want to do before you do all that syntax and grammar and spelling editing, which you think of for Pro Writing Aid, which is a phenomenal tool for that. But I encourage you to explore their new critique tool because it's very helpful. It's also completely objective, and because it's AI, so it doesn't bring any personal prejudices to examining your text. So I just thought I'd let you all know that. Okay, thank you so much. Keep writing, have fun, and I will see you next week at Mystery Writer Studio.